top 100 music on your Remedy radio dial. Solutions 93.
That dial.
Socek, Manchester United appealing that the ball's gone out. They stop for a moment. And they might be punished for that. Benrahma! West Ham lead at Old Trafford. West Ham now. Bruno Fernandes applying the pressure and it counts. Another ball into the box that they don't defend, and I don't think the offside flag is going to come to their rescue this time. And I can't believe that this one won't count.
Well, it does look as though it could be an own goal here. Let's have another look. Does Weghorst get a touch on it? No, he doesn't. Aguirre.
Aguirre, own goal. In by Bruno Fernandes. Aguirre's only put it to Weghorst. Deflection only arrives at the feet of Garnacho. Oh! Superb strike, and Manchester United have come back from a goal down to lead 2-1 in the last knockings of this fifth round FA Cup tie. Here's Fred, they've got another one wrapped up. And West Ham beaten really by the second goal. And Manchester United are on the verge of a third consecutive 3-1 win in home games in this FA Cup.
Watch your live at Remedy Dial Solutions 939 FM. That was Manchester United against West Ham United. And, well, for Eric Ten Hag's side, they are coasting. Remember, after the EFL Cup victory, FA Cup now is looking cool. But remember, they still have a long way to go. My name is Oladapo Kunubi, aka Young Striker 9.
Well, it's Sean Dyche's defeat for me yesterday after the first match he played with Arsenal, and it seems as though Arsenal went back. You know, when they say, but what are they saying? That was the case of Arsenal yesterday night. Good morning, everyone. I am Favor Olorutola.
Yeah, you know what was Arsenal looking at when they lost the first game against Everton? That is none of my business. My business.
They underestimated Everton at that point. And if you see what Everton has been playing since Arsenal's defeat, you will see that Sean Dyche is not the messiah of Everton at all.
Did you just say that?
No, yes.
Sean Dyche is not the messiah. Okay, but let's look at some messiah-ric stories this morning from the world of tennis to NBA. And we talk football. Remember, Nigeria's under-20 national team, the Flying Eagles, will be in action against Uganda today. And the quarterfinal round of the under-20 AFCON. Well, but let's start with the NBA this morning. Well, Anthony Davis will join LeBron James on the sidelines and miss the Los Angeles Lakers game with the Oklahoma City Thunder, well, due to a foot injury. I mean, that game has been decided, but look at the injury. The LA Lakers said Davis had a right foot stretch injury, which is an issue that has caused him to miss 20 games earlier this season. Darwinham 29-33 side already without James, who has an ankle injury, and D'Angelo Russell, who's got a foot injury, as they look to launch a chart to qualify for the playoffs, entering Wednesday's slate of games. The Lakers are 12th in the Western Conference. You were talking about Messiah earlier.
With this, I can cut LA Lakers a slack. I can, understand their dilemma and everything going on with them right now. But at the same time, do well with your team.
Do well with your team. But let's look at result of games decided. And we as of today, despite the injury, LA Lakers defeated Oklahoma City Thunders 123 to 117 points. But I'm talking about injuries here. I mean, for LA Lakers having a lot of players, injured, it shows that going forward, this will have a lot to tell about LA Lakers qualifying for the playoffs, also winning games that are winnable. There's some games that are winnable, but they will just, lose out. But
how I wish I knew your club in football. The way you are defending LA Lakers this morning is so interesting.
International defenders.
We have other games that were decided in the early hours of this morning, where Charlotte Nets lost at home to Phoenix Suns, won at 91 points to 105 points. Detroit Pistons, gave a low blow and couldn't do the damage to Chicago Bulls, 115 to 117. That was a loss for Detroit Pistons. Boston Celtics won at home against Cleveland Cavaliers, 117 points to 113. Miami Heat lost to Philadelphia 76ers, 96 points to 119 points. New York Knicks, wow, good result against Brooklyn Nets, 142 points to 118. Houston Rockets lost home to Memphis Grizzlies, 99 points to 113. Milwaukee Bucks won their game against Orlando Magic, 139 points to 117 points. The last game for the early hours of this morning in full time, Portland Trail Blazers losing to New Orleans Pelicans, 110 points to 121 points.
Okay, now moving away from the NBA, let's talk tennis this morning, where fifth seed Sloane Stephens moved into the quarterfinal of the ATX Open as one of the only 3 seeds remaining after a straight set victory over Heather Watson on Wednesday. The 29-year-old American triumphed 6-4, 6-4 over Watson in 1 hour and 27 minutes in Austin. Now, volley nets came from a set down and also 5-love down in the third frame, needing 2 hours and 19 minutes to get past Potapova, winning 5-7, 6-2, 7-5. Now, let's look at fixtures of games going down today and some other tennis tournament decided earlier today. Remember, we're live on Facebook, facebook.com/solutions939FM, facebook.com/solutions939FM. And the Dubai Tennis Championship, Alexander Zverev will take on Lorenzo Sonego by 12 o'clock today, while Botic Vadazankov will battle Andrei Rublev by 1:30. Novak Djokovic will be in action by 4 o'clock when he takes on Hugo Cards, while Bona Koric will slug it out with Dani Medvedev by 5:30. Mexican Open in Acapulco, ATP 500 games already decided today. Francis Tiafoe through, Mackenzie McDonough through, Taro Daniel, Tommy Paul, Alex de Minaur, Matthew Berrettini, Taylor Fritz, Olga Noskov Rune all through, but one game yet to be decided as a clash between Mackenzie McDonald and Tommy Paul. In Chile, at the ATP 250 in Santiago, Nicolas Jarry defeated Diego Schwartzman 6-4, 4-6, 7-6 to move to the next round. While some games scheduled for today, Juan Manuel Corandolo will be up against Dusan Lajovic as Laszlo Jarry will be up against Ricardo Bonadio. And while Thomas Echeverry will be up against Francisco Corandolo, Christian Garin will take on Sebastian Baez as well. Those are the games there. But let's talk about WTA this morning. WTA 250 Austin Open games. Some games decided, and we have more to go down today.
Okay, Peyton Stearns defeated Mirjam Butch Kluge. That's 6-3, 7-5. But we have Mata Kostyuk and Madison Brinkley to slug it out today. We also have another game. Carter McNally will take on Daniel Collins today.
Those are the games there. Now we'll move away from tennis. Let's go straight and talk football. Talk about Nigeria's under-20 national team on the continent. Well, Nigeria's under-20 national team, the Flying Eagles, will be up against Uganda at 6 o'clock today at the Africa Cup of Nations under-20 quarterfinal round. Remember, Nigeria finished second behind Senegal, and Uganda finished off with 5 points behind Benin Republic in their group. But looking at this particular one, Nigeria won 2 games, lost 1, but Uganda won just a game and drew 2. So let's also look at this. If there's a motivation for the boys going into this game. But remember, the first knockout game of the day, we see Senegal that defeated Nigeria in the first game of the tournament take on Benin Republic.
Well, Nigeria and Uganda today. I hope the boys have a good one. If Nigeria can pull through, good. If Uganda-
Well, remember, all we just need to do is just get to the
We just need to get
semi-final.
to the
We
that's
qualify.
we
It's a qualification. It's a qualification
Please, I
stage.
beg, no doubt. Wow.
Okay, now moving away from that, let's talk Premier League rescheduled games that went down yesterday. For those who missed Arsenal's game that Favour was happy about earlier this morning, where Arsenal bashed Everton 4-0.
Downfield, maybe here. Oh yes, Bukayo Saka buries another beauty. This kid is almost unstoppable. 11th of the season, and it's his 50th Premier League goal involvement as well. Absolutely brilliant stuff from Saka.
Then he's onside.
Oh, it stands! VAR helps Arsenal out. It took it away against Brentford. It's delivered here. Thank you very much. Martinelli, nice turn. Just behind Xhaka, but still the move continues, and boy does it. Here's Trossard. Odegaard! 3 points secured. What another mesmeric team move from the Gunners. Captain fantastic, Martin Odegaard slams it home. Arsenal surely going 5 points clear once more. Arsenal 3, Everton 0.
Just get involved in everything going forward.
Another great through ball. Snuck in for number 4, and it's a second for Gabriel Martinelli. It had to come. Arsenal 4, Everton 0.
Well, I will credit to them because at the end they have to do it themselves, but we try to help them with our way of playing to get them in those positions as much as possible. They are so willing to learn. They're asking for more and more every single day. They never have enough information. They want more, and the defender and the space and the practice. And at the end, when you have that and you have the talent that they have, at the age that they have, at the end, good things will happen.
So good things are happening in Arsenal. Have got players who are on double digits in the squad. Shout out to Bukayo Saka, Martinelli.
My baby.
Okay, now let's move straight to the second Premier League game also decided last night. It was Liverpool. Getting the pound of flesh against Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Was that a pound of that wasn't a pound of flesh, that was a late goal for Liverpool, 2-0 against Wolverhampton Wanderers. You know, I was like, okay, when it was getting towards the 70th minute, I was like, okay, this match is going to end goalless. Then the Van Dijk's goal was disallowed, and then I started hearing go, go. I was like, oh no.
Okay, but I mean, when in a game of football, you'd never say never.
Yeah, I know.
Don't over depend on the start.
I know.
That
It
was
was
what
a
happened to
good
some.
one for Liverpool, though.
Okay.
Congratulations on the victory.
Okay, so let's just quickly look at how the table stands after the victory for Arsenal and Liverpool. Arsenal still leading the log now with 5-point gap above Manchester City. Arsenal has got 60 points from a possible 25 games, winning 19, drawing 3 and losing 3. 1 for Liverpool. Liverpool is 6th on the Premier League log with 39 points from 24 matches, winning 11, drawing 6 and losing 7. Okay, 1 for Everton. The Messiah could not take them out of the relegation zone because Everton is 18th on the Premier League log with 21 points from 25 matches, winning 5, drawing 6 and losing 14. No thanks to some of the managers that they fired.
How many managers? Just one manager was fired.
Okay, all right.
And one Messiah that is supposedly supposed to take Everton out
I
of
say I've
relegation
heard you
zone.
now. All right, now let's go straight and talk about English FA Cup games decided last night. Tottenham Hotspur out of the FA Cup. It was not really an expected result, but it happened to Tottenham Hotspur last night, and a lot of people felt like, okay, if you expect Tottenham to keep getting results without Antonio Conte, but for Christian Stellini, who was the coach on ground that saw how Tottenham lost against Sheffield United, he came out to say that they started the right players, but it was a lock against the team not converting their chances.
No, the team, I think the team we choose and we picked up to play this game was fine. We use a good team to play this game against this type of opponent. The problem was the energy. And if the energy is not at the same level of your opponent, sometimes you can lose. We had opportunity to score, but we never find the target.
That's Ostellini. The man who standing 8 for Antonio Conte. Remember, Antonio Conte had a surgery, but hey, it is about you finding a target and, hitting
Seeing
the target.
making
So
sure that it gets to the point.
Okay, but looking at other results of games decided last night in the English FA Cup.
Well, Southampton is out. Well, Grimsby Town won them 2-1. Burnley was able to do something good against Fleetwood Town, winning by 1 goal. Manchester United through West Ham out. Sheffield United in. Tottenham Hotspur gone.
Okay, so gone, all right. But now let's talk about the quarterfinal draw in full. Manchester City will take on Burnley, and Vincent Company will return to Manchester City for the first time as manager. Facing his former side. Manchester United has been drawn against Fulham, Brighton against Grimsby, as Sheffield United drawn against Blackburn Rovers. Well, remember, tonight's games are also going down not only in Africa, but remember, in Spain, it's going to be a tough battle between Barcelona and Real Madrid because it's going to be the Copa del Rey clash. Well, according to a report we got, Robert Lewandowski may miss this game due to injury. Remember, they also have key players who will also be missing that particular one. But wishing Barcelona...
Real Madrid.
Oh.
All the best.
Okay. Now we know where we are, right? On this one. Okay. All right. Now, guys, we have to wrap up the show because going to the headlines, the pages of Nigerian newspapers this morning. Reactions are still trailing the announcement of the president-elect by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in the person of APC's presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Parties are talking. Organizations are talking.
Labour Party talking.
PDP also talking.
Yes.
Well, this and more we'll be discussing on that side. Damola Lafenwa is coming in with a smile this morning. As you know, he's an Arsenal fan.
He's gonna have that broad smile on him this morning. Yes, that wide smile.
Let us wait till Arsenal lifts the title. That is because me, as I am, I cannot be, wasting my blood. Come inside. Come inside. Laffy, come
There's
inside.
no wasting this.
Come inside.
Honestly.
So your team won yesterday. You've been calling Paso.
Well, it's a much expected win. Arsenal.
Are you scared of talking to the mic, Laffy?
Arsenal has been a team that has been so underrated over the years, as God will smile on us now, we seem to be shining. They never expected it.
Shine bright like a diamond. They never see this coming, right? Okay, but Laffy, I won't want to bet. Don't let me bet so that I won't spoil minds of Arsenal fans this morning. But let's keep our fingers crossed to the end of the season.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
But should Arsenal fail to lift the title, there's going to be okay. All right, guys, let's move to the other side this morning.
News, sports, entertainment. Top 100 music on your Remedy Radio dial. Solutions 93.9.
Do not touch that dial.
Ẹ káàárọ̀ nílùú Ìbàdàn. Solutions 93.9 FM.
All right, studio time check 9:20. The station A Solutions 93.9 FM, and it's the second day in the month of March 2023. I tell you, the month of March is already marching on again.
You came in smiling. You came
I
in
came in
dripping.
with all smiles. We just had a new president-elect in the country, and of course, my team, that is Arsenal, won that very wonderful and interesting match. So.
Your happiness this morning makes me remember what happened yesterday morning when everybody woke up, and most of the reactions we've been getting so far is tilting towards happiness and not happy. So if it's for you this morning, happy?
Well, it is. We need to be happy and we need to be optimistic now that we have a new president-elect. Let's hope for the best, and let's hope that God will strengthen him to at least ease the sufferings of Nigerians at the moment. Okay, good morning. It's AM Update on Solutions 93.9 FM, and this is the newspaper review segment from the dailies. And my name is Adidamola Lafema. With me, I've got the Nigerian Tribune and the Nation newspapers with me.
Okay, I'll be taking you through stories on the Vanguard newspaper and the Punch newspaper.
Okay, virtually all the papers we have this morning talk about the fact that the winner of the presidential election and his vice had been presented with the certificates of return by the INEC. But looking at the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning, I have this banner headline that says, "I will work to make Nigeria better, Tinubu," and riders to that, seeks reconciliation with Atiku, Obi, others, as INEC presents certificate of return to him, Shetima. Buhari, IBB, Lawan, governors, others congratulate President-elect. Final story on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. And just beneath that, we have this one saying, "We will retrieve our mandate. Atiku Okowa campaign vows Labour Party to fight the injustice vice presidential candidate." And another writer says, "Owaneze Ndigbo rejects 2023 presidential election results." Moving further, Maiduguri Monday market fire. Police arrest 50 suspects for alleged looting. Final story on page 5. FEC okays $61.5 million, 16.133 billion naira for power contract award. Huge sums there. CSOs demand audit report of 2023 presidential National Assembly elections. Pass vote of no confidence in electoral process adopted by INEC. The final story on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. And the very last story, okay, let me take this one. Herdsmen invade Ondo, communities destroy farms, injure farmers. And the last one I'll be taking says, alleged homicide, reps majority leader Dugua to be remanded in prison. You find that story on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning.
All right, let's punch through the headlines on the Punch newspaper this morning with the envelope headlines here saying banks' assets rise to 73 trillion naira. That's the CBN on page 20. A grant Nigerians visas on arrival. Federal government tells India. Marketers to sanction the poor filling stations over overpricing of fuel. And then we have this as the banner headline here. Tinubu woos Atiku, Obi as parties reject result. PDP, LP, NNPP others refuse to sign election result sheet in Abuja. And Buhari, Osibajo, UK, ECOWAS, Senate governors congratulate President-elect. Obi campaign moves legal battle as Tinubu visits Buhari in Daura. Obi, the trader who changed the game, really changed the game in this 2023 election. Page 12 of the Punch newspaper.
Okay, moving to the Nation newspaper this morning, I have the cap headline saying, poll results reflect will of Nigerians, says Buhari. UK Prime Minister Macron, IBB, hail Tinubu. Shetima. Tinubu's victory excites capital market. You find that story on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. And the banner headline says, I hear you loud and clear. President-elect tells youth. And riders to that, young Nigerians will get full attention Tinubu promises good governance, functional economy, security. President-elect VP-elect get COR, that is Certificate of Return. These are some of the headlines on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning.
Okay, on the Vanga newspaper, we see the INEC chairman, we see the president-elect and his wife smiling, receiving the certificate of return, and also the vice president-elect and his wife receiving the certificate of return yesterday. And it has this headline, Tinubu extends olive branch to Atiku Obi Kwankwanto, promises to work day and night for Nigerians. Tinubu tells Nigerian youth, I hear you loud and clear, pledges open door policy, wealth creation and jobs, sets up reconciliation to meet with Atiku others. And we also have all of this on the same just the same thing on the pages of the Nigerian newspapers this morning. But on the presidential poll, losers should go to court, not streets. President Buhari speaking. Poll, we retrieve our mandate in court. Obi Dati vow. Atiku to supporters, remain calm. We reclaim our stolen mandate. Others kill volunteer guard members, 6 others in Benue villages.
Okay, yeah, these are the headlines we have in some of our national dailies that we have with us this morning. And we have your DJ Ajishokwe who will be analyzing some of these issues we'll be discussing this morning. But before we introduce Ayodiji Ajishokwe, we have this burning issue which we want to talk about.
Okay, less than 24 hours of being elected president. The president-elect have given 2 speeches. And the second one, after he received the certificate of return, went viral yesterday. But there were certain things that he said that, we need to talk about.
Very soon, this nation shall witness a young person standing before you, holding this great symbol of democracy and national leadership. We shall see a woman standing before you, holding this certificate as its owner. We shall experience someone from a tribe that many people have tried to dismiss as somehow beginning to disqualify. There are young people listening to me right now who shall one day be the leaders of our precious and exceptional democratic republic. Thus, by taking this certificate, I assume a sacred duty I shall never ignore. To you, the people, especially the youth, I will work day and night. I will work to the utmost best of my ability to make Nigeria better. For this to be a victory at all, I know many did not vote for me, and you are disappointed that your candidate is not where I stand now. I understand. You hurt, your anger, disappointment. I send the embrace and comfort of one family member to another. This great project called Nigeria beckons to us all. It is bigger and more important than any partition divide.
Okay, the president-elect there, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, after he was being given the certificate of return by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, yesterday. All right, good morning, Mr. Ayodiji Ajishokwe.
Good morning to you, Dabola.
It feels so good to have you in the studio with us this morning.
Yes, and a good morning to you too, Favor.
Good morning to you. Happy New Month to you.
Yes, same from here.
Okay, I think this is the first time we'll be having you on this program after the
election.
Yeah. Okay, now INEC has made a pronouncement, and I know the president-elect of our great country, Nigeria. But there have been speculations from different quarters, especially from the other parties like the Labour Party, the PDP, saying that the umpire, who happens to be the INEC, wasn't just enough, wasn't transparent enough. In your own view, how will you rate the performance of INEC as regards transparency?
Overnight, I read Yaga Africa report. And what Yaga Africa report said, it is nothing outside of what quite a number of people, even other international observers, have noted and written and talked about. You see, no matter how much you run mock exams, mock elections in 1,000 and so many units, doing the big thing, the real thing, 176,000 polling units, the monstrous logistic needs, that alone is huge enough. But you see, the only issue that raised integrity questions was the fact that INEC, as it has told the whole world repeatedly, did not start the uploading of results from polling units. That was where the integrity issue, comes in. But well, what did INEC have to say? I saw Peter Okoye saying, well, this is a huge operation. We are done staggered elections using those portals and IREV, but this is a huge operation. It is not staggered. The adjustments, I don't think those kinds of explanation, in a very serious situation as we have it.
But the Senate President 2 days ago came out to say something about the Electoral Act and transmission of election. The Senate President said that, and he clarified, that the Electoral Act did not provide for electronic transmission of results as been demanded by
Lawan is not the umpire.
But
Lawan is not the umpire.
The bill went through the Senate.
Well, at the moment they passed the bill and as sent to by the president, look, the INEC is vested with enormous powers, not just by the Electoral Act, but even by the Constitution of the Federal Republic. The Constitution says INEC shall organize powerful words, and the Electoral Act vested it with so many other powers too. Now, I'm not saying the processes have been flawed or bad, but that is the big question people are raising. But the Electoral Act says substantial compliance. That is the bottom line, substantial compliance. What constitutes substantial compliance? Did the fact that INEC did not upload immediately to its portal, to IREV, did it sabotage the processes? Does it amount to non-substantial compliance? These are the fundamental questions. And believe you me, take a look at the results nationwide. Bola Ahmed Tinubu lost Lagos. The president lost Katsina.
And Abuja too.
And Abuja too. In Nasarawa, Plateau, Nasarawa, Obi won. He won in Lagos. Look at the southeast. The PDP governors, traditional home of PDP, the governors lost their senatorial bid. They lost their state.
River State was lost too.
Of course, lost River State. And in the south too. Edo, they lost Edo too. So, look, the result in itself shows that people's votes mostly counted. If not, how would Obi put up that kind of showing in Taraba, in Plateau? And I remember I asked some people from those minority areas a few days before the election, and they told me the sentiments that was going to, inform their voting, and that is exactly what I saw in the results. So believe you me, and then you see, we are evolving. You can look back to 2007. President Obasanjo, who was the sitting president, said for his party, an election was a do or die affair. And the man that was the beneficiary of that election went to Ilorin at the Bar Association conference and said, look, the election that brought me into office was fraudulent. I mean, that journey from that location, we have traveled, we have gone quite far. Of course, INEC got to this point by the experience it has had and the adjustment it was making. So we can only look, it was a long drawn battle. Every inch of this country was fought for. Look at it. Obi won 6.0 something million. Atiku won got 6.8. and Tinubu got 7.8, 7.8. Okay, I think it was 6.9. Tinubu got 7.8. This was close. 12, 12, 12, 12. Yes, except for Kwankwaso. 12, 12, 11. Kwankwaso that got one. That was a close election. So that's just it. Look, I think I've said it in this studio when the whole drama started in the PDP. The moment PDP breached its own rule of what do you call it, zoning, in order to achieve an end, and the end was to give the ticket to Atiku, they stood logic on its head. They said Obasanjo did 8 years. Atiku Yar'Adua was there for 2 years. Then they hung 6 years on Jonathan's neck, and then they added 6 plus 8. They said that was 14. The Southerners have done 14. And people say, should be the one here now. What's his name? What's his name? The President Buhari is a Northerner. They say, no, that one is in APC. I said, look, we are zoning north and south. This guy is from the north. They said, no. They decided to start logic on his head in order to achieve an objective of giving the Atiku Abubakar the ticket. But sadly enough, they missed. What shocked me most was that, as experienced as Atiku Abubakar is on the political field, he failed to manage the fallout of the primaries.
Okay, Mr. Ajishokwe, let's take the build-up of the primaries of the APC.
Okay.
It was an unexpected result when we began to hear, I stepped down for Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then later on he won the primaries. Now, you mentioned something about him losing Lagos and some very important parts in Nigeria. That aside, now, I've been speaking with a lot of people, and there's speculations that it was intentional. Maybe...
Conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy theories, yes. Maybe it was the fact that he knew that there's some places that he couldn't handle, and he played his game right to win the election. Now, you mentioned something about zoning. When will Nigerians, when are we stop living on sentiment and let us focus on who can do the job and lead us to the place where we all expect to be? Every time it's zoning, it's the time of the South, it's the time of the North. Why not just focus on integrity and, intellect?
We are a diverse people culturally, in our ethnicity, in language, faith. Look, you have to do what is pragmatic and expedient politically. You have to do things that will build confidence in unity. Let me tell you, the fact that Bola Ahmed Tinubu won this election on the strength of the support that he got from the North, it is confidence building for Nigeria.
And you think so?
Believe you me.
This is the same president-elect that mentioned something saying that an election cannot go well without some manipulations in some kind of way.
Oh yes, I mean, look, it's manipulation. When you say manipulation,
okay,
manipulation is playing. I want to believe is playing on some certain sentiment. That you manipulate people by putting issues across to them in a sentimental way. Look at what played out. What played out in Plateau? Ethnicity and religion. What played out in Taraba? Taraba is largely a Christian state. That is what played out. That is why God does number of votes. In Lagos, what played out? Continuation of NSAS and faith. Ministers of Christian faith, they were telling their congregation how to vote. I mean, is that not manipulation?
Okay, Doctor.
Manipulation from the pulpit.
Mr. Jishokwe, can we rightly say that the effect of the G5 governors was felt in the outcome, the results of the PDP nationwide?
No doubt. Look, if Rivers was for Atiku, the effect of Rivers will have gone beyond. The effect of Wike will have gone beyond Rivers. And you imagine if or your governor was for Atiku, what the turnout would have been.
But the governor never actually, said that I am for Bola
never
Ahmed.
mentioned
He never
any
mentioned
candidate he was
any
supporting.
kind of
Okay,
support.
I will quote him. He said, on election day, vote for our National Assembly candidates, and for the presidency, vote for national unity and equity. Yes, the CPS came out the following day issuing a statement personally signed by the governor that vote top to bottom PDP. But like they say, Orotijade.
Okay, we have Comrade Olomotosho joining us now in the discussion. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Comrade Olomotosho.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Okay,
Nigeria.
just before you came in, I was asking Mr. Ajishokwe his own view, because now the results have been announced by INEC. We now know the president electing, but there have been speculations, there have been some dust being raised in some quarters that INEC, being the umpire, wasn't transparent enough. In your own view, what is your score of INEC as regards transparency in this just concluded election?
Well, you want to make me a judge. I'm an activist and I will speak like an actor. Okay. So, now, if I must tell you, I want to say that INEC turned out to be a disappointment. And going into the election, the hopes were very high. And I was very, very enthusiastic that INEC was going to do what it promised to do. But unfortunately, what went wrong, I don't know. And that's the reason why sometimes when we talk, when we speak like this, we say the Nigerian factor is always, it's always an influence in whatever that is going to happen.
I would like you to go straight to the point, as in to address that particular area where you feel INEC disappointed you as a Nigerian.
Now, the first thing and the most critical of it was the introduction of the beavers, which heightened the hope of Nigeria. And that was one thing that really made a lot of people decide to say, okay, at least I'm going to vote because I have some inkling and some assurance that my vote will count. But unfortunately, INEC, in spite of all the promises by the chairman, reneged and refused to do the PSU transmission, online transmission, like it promised. And that alone had reduced and had removed the credibility of that election. Because what we have been fighting for and what had always made our elections unreliable is the means of coalition. That after you do a coalition at the polling unit, between the polling units and the RAC, that's the registration areas where at the ward level where things will be collated, a lot of things happen on the way. And from there up to the state level and up to the national level. But if INEC had done what it promised, that transmission will be done from the polling unit. And we are able to go to the RF and then see everything that that got transmitted from the polling unit. Of course, some of these controversies and all of these things we are talking about now will have been erased, will have been removed. And actually, when everything that we see there, if they tally it with what happened on the field, then of course nobody will be talking, nobody will be accusing INEC of anything. But for the simple fact that INEC reneged on that, of course, that makes it make INEC the culprit there.
But Mr. Yolide Chope, you mentioned earlier that Festus Okoye came out to give an excuse why that wasn't being done as promised. Would we say now that INEC came unprepared for this election?
Believe you me, I've had cause to interact all through this past year with INEC at various levels. Up till the morning of the election, I had interactions with the head of voter education at the state level and the REC. Some weeks before that, we had interactions with Mr. Peter Okoye. And we kept asking persistently some questions. And we had that Beavers was going to be the game changer, and then uploading from the polling unit. They gave a clarification that there are certain locations in this country that do not have network service provider network, but the polling unit will have taken the shot of the result. The moment they are in a location where there is a service provider network, they will upload. Yes, we didn't have that. We went onto the IREV, things were not coming in until the following morning or thereabout. But I spoke to an associate professor of law yesterday. And yes, it is something I had known since 2009 because I followed one particular election. The Electoral Act says substantial compliance. That is the bottom line of any election. Substantial compliance. And for me, the question is, the fact that INEC did not upload as promised, you know, those results from the polling units onto the IREV, and, you know, putting credibility, integrity questions to what INEC promised and what went wrong, and that gap, you know, people are asking questions. But the question is, does that amount to non-substantial compliance? That is just the question. Does that amount, even between you and I, before we go to the court, does that amount to non-substantial compliance that could have affected the outcome of the election? That's just the question.
Okay. Comrade, before you came in, I asked Mr. Ajisope. Now, there's this speculations that INEC was being partisan in some quarters. Now, but looking at the results in some places from, let's take Daura, Katsina, for example, APC didn't win in Katsina. APC lost Lagos, even the seat of power in Abuja. Can we say that with this result, INEC was just with this, considering this result, despite what happened and all the speculations going around?
You see, when everything we are looking at now, even on the field, we are not lawyers, we are not learned fellows. Now, technicalities are creeping into it. And so definitely when they get to court, that's exactly what is going to happen. Now, if that's what happened, the upset that we witnessed, in Daura, like you said, in Lagos and in other places. Now, that shows clearly that there is a departure from from the norms in our voting, in our electoral system. Now, the pattern of voting is changing totally. And that if INEC had adhered to what it promised, now, all of these questions wouldn't have arisen at all. Now, and take for instance, we see video evidences of PU and the polling unit officers saying that they were instructed not to upload. We saw video evidences, all around, flying all around.
That's worrisome.
Yeah, and then we see some people, some people they had to be forced to do it. And then at some point, around 10 p.m. on the day of the election, results started getting into the IREF. And by morning, the results that got there had disappeared again. So when you look at these things, when you pull them together, you see, so you'll be able to come up with this suspicion that INEC is complicit. It's coming very clearly. So, like in Lagos, for instance, I never believed anybody would defeat Tinubu in Lagos. I never believed that.
The forces are arrayed against him.
I never believed that. But when you want to look at the matrix, go into the election, the factor of the answers, the factor of the fact that there are so many people that are already saying Otoge in Lagos and things like that. Now, yes, and the youth, the involvement of youths in this election caused the kind of upset that we are seeing. So, and it would have been a beautiful election if it has gone the way INEC had planned it. If INEC had done that, of course, Professor Yakubu would have become an hero by now. But unfortunately, the Nigerian factor came into it.
Okay, you can be a part of the program by calling in on the numbers 0909-888-9939 and 0912-222-2939. You can as well drop your comment on our Facebook page, Solutions 939 FM.
All right, so you can still call in 0909 88 89939 and 0912 22 22 939. We can move away from the election, the presidential election now, and focus on the gubernatorial elections going down right here at Oyo State. As at yesterday, there were tweets going around concerning the Labour Party presidential candidate in Lagos, and it was somewhat controversial. And now we see that a lot of people are not really talking about the presidential election anymore, because it's like the norm in Nigeria. Once it's hot, we talk about it. And then another thing will come up and it's covered it up. Let's look at the dynamics for the gubernatorial elections. Seyi Makinde right here in Oyo State, another candidate. How is it going to play out, especially with the commission, INEC, and the situation for the presidential election?
Well, I believe that the governorship election will be a different ball game entirely, because I want to believe that the kind of knocks that INEC had received in this presidential election is just rational to believe or to want to think that INEC will sit up and do things better than they did here. Now, going into talking about the election itself, definitely it's going to be a little bit, Seyi Makinde is going to have, has to do a lot of work now. He has to do a lot of work. Now, because the trend that had started with the presidential and the National Assembly election is such that the people are now tending more towards the other party, that's the opposition, APC. APC cleared all the 3 senatorial seats, and a substantial part of the 14 House of Reps. Now, going into this now, you need to do a lot of work. And my partner associates were talking about him not coming out to say, look, this is what we are going to do. Now, when you are in a political party and you are asking your followers to vote for another party in an election, when you have your own coming, it's definitely going to have an impact.
He never said anything towards that. He
Look,
just didn't endorse the article.
We are all political animals, and we are adults. So when you see, and in Yoruba Palace, they says when you see a fish, when it comes out of the water, you can size it out and say this is how big it is. So you see, exactly, he's not campaigning, he's not telling people to vote for Atiku.
But the body language.
He's not saying it. Now, what stops? He's a PDP man. Atiku is a PDP man. That's your party. He's not coming out to say, look, Atiku is the presidential candidate of our party, vote for him. He never said that. He told people, his followers to say, vote for our senators, our National Assembly members. He never said vote for. So in that case, what's he saying? And the election came, and the presidential candidate of the opposition won. So something is not right there. So you can put 2 and 2 together to say, okay, this is what he's saying. It's definitely going to affect him now.
You think?
Definitely, it's going to affect him.
Okay,
now, that's not to say that he's going to lose.
Okay.
Maybe because he has done some things and then he's loved by the people because they believe that he did better than some of the people that came before him. But it's definitely going to affect his lot.
Mr. Chokwe, this question is for you. Do you foresee any merger in your state of these parties, the candidates, gubernatorial candidates coming together like we experienced in 2019? And let me remind you that the PDP gubernatorial candidate in Lagos State, that is Jan Dor, yesterday was clamoring for something like that they need to unite and to unseat the ruling party, that is the APC in Lagos State. Do you foresee that coming in your state?
Well, there are moves already ongoing, and people are already switching camps. You will notice that the day after, I think by Monday, Teslim Folarin, the candidate of APC, was in Obumasho.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Let's
take this call, please.
Good morning,
Good morning.
I'm calling from Manara.
All right, let's have your take. 60 seconds, please.
According to our desk, good morning, sir. I don't have much to say. Presidential election that concluded last week, 25th, there are some certain factors that contribute to it. we should not forget the tribe card was there and religion. But in Southwest here, I think only Osun State that was delivered for Atiku. So the other Southwest is for Tinubu. That means they play the card of Omowa about that. About Oyo State politics, I think it's very dynamic. Go and check the history. In 2015, when Jonathan lost, in 2011, when Jonathan lost, Ajimobi won. In 2019, when Buhari won second term, Shimakede win. That means Oyo State politics is dynamic because there are some big wings in APC that they are not in the same page with their APC gubernatorial candidates, like Chivni Aketola, Dr. Assis Adetutan. All those people, they are supporting Shimakede because we are want to go for personality and antecedent of each candidate.
Right.
That's my own take about it.
Thank you
Thank you
very much. Let's take this before we go to our analyst. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
This is Aziz. I'm calling from Nigeria.
All right, Aziz,
60 seconds, please.
Concerning the last general election, you can see that many people went for tribe, as in they voted for tribe, Amawale Joshi. But here in Oyo State, the narrative will change because I'm very sure that many people will vote for antecedents and personalities. And meanwhile, achievement of Governor Seyi Makinde will surely speak for him in this coming Dubai election.
Okay.
Because we have seen that he is fulfilling his promises. He claimed the sole ownership of Lautech because he promised us to do that and he has achieved that.
Okay.
So, and many things like that.
All right.
So I'm very sure that people will go for him.
All right.
Thank you very much for that.
Back to you,
comment.
Mr. Jobe.
Yes, we saw Olu Teslim Folari dashing down to Ogbonjo to see former House Leader Mulika Tadiola. Yes, Mulika Tadiola has a quantum of followership in Ogbonjo. But I know that right after the election, she also lost a key member of her team, the still sitting member of the House of Reps from Ogbonjo North South and Ore Federal Constituency, who contested on the platform. He has left her to join the governor's camp. I mean, that is from that zone. Now, I know that people are switching camps already. Some are with the governor who may not work for. They had to call a caucus meeting because the party members who lost the National Assembly election wanted to hang it around the governor's neck. But we must go back into time. How many in the senatorial seats did the APC win in 2019? 2. And the only one PDP won was by default. It wasn't a vote for the PDP, it was a vote against Ajimobi. So we should not use statistics, And then, even the PDP won in Ogbonjo, a sitting member that had been in there for about 3 times. So it's a very fluid thing. If the governor wins, it is not going to be the margin of 2019. It is not going to be.
Okay, let's take some of our comments on our Facebook page. We have this one coming from Bossa de Favor. Beautiful morning to everyone in the studio. The good people of Oyo State will vote fairness and equity, of which we all know that Governor Makinde has performed excellently well in his first term, and we certainly want continuity of the good governance by him. As an intellectual visionary and strategic leader who is working for the progress and peace of the state, the developmental pillars delivered remodeled Lekons Salami Adamasingba Stadium. Okay, quite a lengthy comment there.
Well, Olayinka Adetola, I want to urge the President-elect Asiwaju to correct the wrongs of the APC government led by President Buhari by failing to rehabilitate our refineries, failing to end insurgency, failing to strengthen our naira, failing to fix our power supply, and many others that are battling us in Nigeria. I want to urge the people of Oyo State to come out en masse to vote for the Yoguba candidate and vote the promise keeper and the claim the sole ownership of Lautech. Oh, you're campaigning for Seyi Makinde. You don't do that there yet. So please, on the final note, Comrade and Mr. Ajishokwa, do you think the president-elect can deliver to Nigerians?
Well, what I'm going to say is this. What we need most is vision. And somebody to lay the foundation for the future. I believe he can get that done.
Comrade?
Yeah, he has the capacity and I know he has the capability. On a micro level, at the state level, he proved it to us, and we have seen. So I want to believe that he will be able, he has what it takes to do it. But what I cannot really affirmatively say is whether he's going to do it, because that involves the will, whether he's going to do it. But I know he has the capacity and he has the ability.
Okay, based on capacity, based on ability, and based on the fact that we cherish your listenership on this station, we say thank you very much for staying tuned to this moment. My name is Favor Olorutola.
And my name is Adedamola Lafenwa. Catch you tomorrow morning on another edition of the program, AM Update on Solutions 93.9 FM. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, comrade. Thank you, Mr. Adisha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.